Lesson to cities and states everywhere. Market watcher Todd Schoenberger certainly thinks so. Todd, this is remarkable, you know.
Yeah, you got that right, Neil. I love this story because if you start thinking about what Governor Walker is actually doing, every state should be emulating this business model right now. The ancillary benefits are going to be that much greater. Clearly, it's going to help with employment down the road, but it's also going to help with the tax rolls for his state. And this is why, and this actually goes back to something maybe Ronald Reagan would have once said, if you really want to see prosperity, get rid of the regulation, help out the businesses, and you'll see your economy grow.
You know what's kind of novel what they're doing in Wisconsin? When I started reading about this, Todd, and you know this stuff backwards and forwards, but it wasn't just tax breaks, but it was incentivizing investors in these young companies coming in to share the wealth. We'll give you a tax credit. You buy in this, you keep it here. Everyone's rewarded. That's a novel type of a little goodie, you know?
It's a fantastic approach because a 25% tax break for seed capital. I mean, keep in mind, you have so many educated workers in Wisconsin, and what Wisconsin is doing is keeping them in-house. They're homebred. They're actually there they're seeing their earnings rise, and they're willing to invest in companies right there in the state. So when you give that tax incentive, you're actually saying, look, I'll give you a 25% break, but he knows that the state of Wisconsin is going to see that number quadruple down the road only because of the economic benefit. Filling the tax rolls, obviously more employment, it's only going to help that state moving forward.
Well, it's pretty clear from when we look across the country and we look at those states that have cut taxes or cut regulations or made a more labor-friendly environment. By labor, I just mean worker-friendly environment. They've been richly rewarded, and those that haven't, Stockton comes to mind, have paid the price. But it seems, at least in Washington, to fall on deaf ears. What do you make of that?
Yeah, you're right about that, Neil. I mean, first of all, you have let's just talk about the social ramifications of what Washington does. I mean, we're borrowing 40 cents on the dollar right now just to cover our overhead costs per month. So when you start thinking about just borrowing, how are you supposed to actually invest? How are you going to promote or incentivize investment is from companies and individuals? So moving forward, we have to wonder, and you would hope that Washington will look at this page that's taken out of Madison, and hopefully they will then respond favorably and maybe offer some tax breaks. Unfortunately, though, I don't see that happening anytime in the short term.
Well, I think you're right, at least on the current kind of environment. Todd, I am curious about one thing, though. I noticed this pace picked up in Wisconsin post the recall effort. In other words, more companies are calling the Madison and the state capital officials who sort of woo businesses and post this sort of crackdown on public pension and health care costs. When the state seems to be getting its act together, companies seem to be drawn to that. And I'm not saying Silicon Valley moves en masse to Madison, Wisconsin, but we're already seeing many more increasing to do that. What do you predict?
Well, I have to tell you, though, I mean, you actually saw this in the state of Texas, where you had many technology companies move out of California. They moved into Texas because of the tax break. Now you're actually seeing this in Wisconsin. The tax break, obviously the social services, you don't have the extra overhead costs. That's what a company wants, especially a key tech startup. And then when you have that money that's coming in, any type of seed capital from another investor, you want to make sure that it's going to be fiscally conservatively used, if you will, and that's what we're seeing in that state. So I think this is just a start of big things for that state. They're clearly on an upward trajectory. It's probably going to continue for many years right now.
Todd, thanks. Good insight as always, my friend. Todd Schoenberger in Chicago.